All right, what's up, guys? We're back again with another episode of Brothers That Love Film. I'm here with myself, Bola, uh,
Olu,
Olu, Lady Maya, and a special guest with us, my little brother, Mike,
and we got another mic in the background.
1 2 1
My
2. What's
special
good?
who
guest.
just so happened doesn't have a mic, but
It's
I
okay.
always gonna get hand him a mic.
yeah, no play on words there.
So we just came back from watching the film Nope, opened on Friday, the 22nd. And let's start with our first impressions, just general impressions. We'll start with Olu. You want to go first?
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. I thought it was good. I thought, all right, off the rip, cinematography top notch.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give it to I don't know the cinematographer name, but he definitely held it down. I love the way how he light black. It's hard to sometimes light dark skin tones at night, and I thought he did a real good of it. So just from watching the opening scene, I was like, oh, they really got like not trying to poop on whoever did Get Out, but I was like, this is next level cinematography off the rip, and I thought it looked beautiful. I thought Sam was amazing. It has a couple problems with characters. I ain't really buy some of the people motivation in it, but I mean, I see why it was in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the play on the alien being animal was pretty cool, and I thought it was a good movie. I don't know if I'm gonna see it again, but I thought off the rip it was pretty. It was okay. It was good. I'm hoping to do better than where we saw that because there wasn't a lot of people in the movie theater. So hopefully it do well.
So far, it's doing really well. It's broken some box office records or set some records, which is really good. And also,
During COVID times or in general?
Well, it came out.
I would have to double check. I just looked up reactions.
They know how to make numbers work for them though. It's like ESPN.
Oh,
stats.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
This made the most movie on the opening Thursday.
I think it said
in
like
the last 3 years.
the most money an original film has made in I think 2 years. So I guess it has to deal with
okay, like
COVID
it's
numbers.
a category. You said original though.
Original film. Yeah.
Well, Marvel's probably not considered.
No,
original.
it's not original at all. And also spoiler alerts. If we didn't say that before, we will now.
We will apologize because Boom actually gave up a spoiler already in the movie.
Oh,
Apologies.
yeah.
That's fine. We'll get into that. You guys are listening here for a reason. You want to hear our opinions and our insights. So if you didn't know, now you know. All right, Bolo, thoughts?
Immediately when the movie ended, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of disappointed in the ending because I kind of sometimes with me I don't like open endings and like what's left to the imagination. But then as I really pondered it and thought about it and even discussed with my brothers in the car on our way here, like I was like, all right, that was a fitting ending to it. You necessarily don't have to see what happened to the characters to know what happened based on all the information they provided throughout the movie. With that being said, I would say I definitely enjoyed the movie. The only problem I did have with the movie, well, I guess we'll get into that later. But overall, I enjoyed the movie. I would recommend people to see it, and I would definitely see it again. In a movie theater, I don't know. I might want to see it. Wait until it comes out on DVD because I like watching a lot of movies in subtitles because I can get like important dialogue. And I felt like there was times in the movie where I missed the dialogue and I leaned over to my brother, either of my brothers, and was like, did you hear what they said? And they'd be like, no, I didn't hear it. So, again, overall, I enjoyed the movie. I would definitely recommend others to see it. And one thing, piggybacking on what Boom said, like we were in the car, I was like, man, it had amazing cinematography. And the Boom was like, I think, and then he started going into like, basically Christopher Nolan, this guy had actually did a cinematography for a few Christopher Nolan movies. I think he said Tenet, Interstellar, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I just really loved how they captured the scenery. Like there were some scenes that was like amazing. Like there was like in capturing the scenery and just the environment, of the movie. And yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Mike, you want to jump in?
Oh yeah. I'm voting for Everybody Black. So I thought that was amazing. But in all honesty, I thought it was really, really good. I'm still digesting a lot of my thoughts because I had a lot of questions about just from my perspective holes in plot. But I do recommend everybody to go see it. I need to see it again, but I would wait for it to come on streaming so I could watch it again like in depth and really see if I can get any of my questions answered.
And Mike too, our second guest, my guest, said basically solid 6. As a general film audience viewer, he's saying that's a solid 6, and I understand that. For me, I would give it a solid 8. I know we do our ratings at the end, but I would give it a solid. It was a solid film, and I enjoyed it a lot. Did it like give me an awakening like Get Out gave me an awakening? No, and I don't think we should be comparing this to the other films in terms of I guess like genre wise, because I feel like these are separate. It's still in like under horror, but to me this is more thriller, sci-fi, less social commentary on race, more commentary on animals and the treatment of animals, which I would love to get into. So let's start with themes then. What are some themes that you guys noticed in the film? What are they saying to us that they're not explicitly saying?
I guess trying to tame an animal, that might be one of the things I was noticing, like with the whole animal thing. Like, hold up, Bo, you go first. I gotta fix something.
I guess piggybacking on what he just said was the exploitation of animals.
Yes, perfect.
And that basically, you know, well, they kind of mentioned it in the movie when they were trying to tell the backstory of, I guess it was a chimpanzee who played like a central role, I guess, in the overall story. Basically, like, I guess we as humans, you know, basically kind of, you know, exploit animals, and we use them for our enjoyment and our pleasure, but we fail to sometimes realize that at the end of the day, they're animals, you know, so, and they can't really communicate with us. And usually how do animals communicate with human beings is through like a physical force, or sometimes as we describe it as violence, you know, because, you know, they can't speak with us. And I thought that was like illustrated in the movie. Yeah, that was a interesting question to start
well, you
off
know,
with.
because it's been on my mind, even in the car ride here, and I'm like, okay, what is that thread? Like, why are we getting the story of Gordy, right, the chimpanzee? And then why are we getting the story of the horses? And why are we getting the story of this UFO that is actually, spoiler alert, an animal, like an extraterrestrial animal, which I thought was an awesome concept. I've never heard of that concept before.
That was definitely mind blowing.
Yeah, it's like it's not just like trying to take over the planet. It's like, no, I'm like a runaway dog. I'm here, and this is my territory now. Like that's how I saw it. It's a runaway dog, and just scoping everyone out, which I thought was brilliant. I'm just like, but what are we saying about the extraterrestrial animal? What?
No, I was gonna say, Mike, do you have thought about the theme?
Yeah. Just stepping away from that theme for a moment, one of the things that really stuck out to me was something speaking to creating generational wealth, or the missing black people in history, about how in society black people make huge contributions to society that we don't know about. We don't know their names. We don't know who they are. And spoiler alert, that was pretty much the reason why the two characters, OJ and Emerald, were trying to capture this wild animal, is because like nobody knew who their great grandfather was, and they had to explain it and why they were being why they have to go after this monster animal in the first place, is to just help them as a family progress.
Yeah, I definitely see that. And also, damn, edit that out. I just had a brain fart.
No, I ain't no problem. I've always had brain farts.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know what was the purpose of the monkey.
Sorry. Let me go back to that. So you brought up a good point about the family generational wealth. Do you think there was any commentary on or about how Emerald didn't want to stay with this family business and she wanted to go off and do her own thing, and she didn't make it a priority to be with the family business even though it was already established? She constantly was trying to do her own thing, and then at the end she had to come together and rebuild and that relationship and be a part of the farm. Well, not the farm, the ranch.
Well, I think in a lot of multi-children households, like if let's just take a bodega for example. A family comes from wherever and they start their own business and they want to pass it on to their son. Specifically, my Bola was talking about this in the car. It's just like fathers have this this need to like want to pass things on to their sons. And it was very apparent that the father wanted to pass something on to Daniel Kaluuya's character OJ, and Keke Palmer's character Emerald felt left out.
Yeah.
She really wanted to be a part of that, and if she was, I'm guessing she felt like, well, if they don't want me to be a part of it, I'm gonna do my own thing. And it kind of went full circle until she realized, like, yo, this is family. This is how we put each other on. This is how we get together. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
And the relationship with her father doesn't have to impact her relationship with her brother, what
Exactly.
he's trying to do.
Cause she made but she made a good note of that when you saw the flashback. So I did like the insert flashbacks they put throughout the scene. Like when she was like, "Dad didn't look at me or didn't say nothing to me, but you turned around and looked at me and did the little I see you and you see me type of thing." So that is a I guess cute brother and sister type thing to show that like I know Dad didn't bang with me like that, but you always
Right.
looked out for me.
It's interesting. I don't know if it's on purpose. This might be me reading into it too much, but the father died by having that one coin go through his skull. So he could only see out of one eye, and he was only seeing his children really with one eye. Just his son, as in taking over the ranch, and the daughter, felt back. So in a way, that handicapped eye could represent her as well. I could be reaching, but that's just
I
kind of,
mean, it's different. I thought I think that makes sense.
just say that's what's up. Because my thing is, things happen for a reason. They're not just going to be like,
Oh, no,
let's just
no,
have a
definitely,
coin.
definitely.
Like, it's especially with Jordan Peele, there's always things that are multi-layered, and I've just always been trying to like figure out, because his films aren't this film wasn't overly like, hey, look at me, this is a message. Like Us was very much, hey, look at me, this is a message. And with this, it's more like, oh, I could just watch this film, be entertained, and not go deeper into it.
Right.
But there are still deeper layers, and that's what I was trying to uncover with the whole pop situation in the eye.
I also think. Go ahead, Bola.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, with the pop situation, like they just touched on it very briefly, like that the fact that even I guess at the end of the movie, like I know Boom in the car we were discussing, he had questions about why were they doing what they did at the end. So I was thinking in reference to not only with them trying to ultimately capture this photo or documentation of the fact of this alien being and trying to make a name for themselves as being the first humans to actually have contact with this alien being, that Daniel Kaluuya's character, I forget, OJ, he basically it was also for him revenge for his father, because they've held that brief scene where he's sleeping in his bed and he kept a quarter. It was in a bag hanging up, so that was always in the back of his mind, like, yo, this Joan killed my father. And then even at the very end, like I was like all right, they're trying to get this photo, but then at the end with the whole balloon thing, sorry if I'm giving too much of the movie away, it was like, all right, now we gonna end this thing. Like we got what we got, but now we gonna end this thing too. So we gonna get our money, but we also gonna kill it too. So I thought that was kind of.
That's interesting, because I was thinking in the car and I was talking to Mike number 2 about it, which is and it's connected to what Bumi was saying about motive. Their motive wasn't to kill the alien. And usually in like a thriller or a horror, you want to kill what's attacking you. They're just like, we just want to capture this. We just want to capitalize on
we want to make money.
We just want to make money off of it.
Yeah.
And at the end, I feel like killing it was more of
you had no choice at that point.
yeah, like an after effect. I don't think it was really the intention, but it was like, at this point,
she still
you're
wanted them
killing
pictures
everybody.
though. She still wanted them pictures though.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So.
Which honestly, I do like, and this is to double back to a lot of different themes. Who was their mother? Let me just ask that
At
question
all.
first.
Only saw a glimpse of her.
Was that a picture of their mother?
Yeah,
Yes.
when she looked at her, when she was underneath the table, when she was scared, she looked over towards the mother. That's the only thing we know about the mother.
I think
Yes.
The only thing we know about the mother.
I think circling back to what Lady M said earlier is about the father not seeing them, right, as kids. And I think he saw, like, our parents always see like something about us that we don't see, that we aren't able to see. And maybe he saw, as in the film, we saw that Keke Palmer was very much about like showboating and wanting to be out there and be a big name. And he was just like, but that's not at the heart of what I want this ranch to be. And maybe he saw that in her that she didn't see in herself. And only Daniel Kaluuya could have been like the conduit between the two. And if he survived, or if, you know, the dad lived on, that he was able to bring his sister and his dad together in a different way.
And I will say, to give the dad credit, he did ask in the beginning, "Where's your sister?"
Where's your sister at? Like
Yeah.
this was routine. The thing about it, I guess, is their dynamic as brother and sister. You notice off the rip, they was complete polar opposites.
Yeah.
He couldn't talk. He kept saying, "My sister be here shortly.
Yeah.
My sister be here shortly." I'm like, I'm like, either he gonna spaz out or the horse gonna spaz out. As soon as she came in, she shut it down though.
Yeah.
So they kind of needed each other. Like she was the idea, because you notice she wanted the pill. When that joint got real, she was like, "I'm out of here." He was
Yeah.
like, "No, I see you. I got work to do.
I have mouths to feed.
I got mouths to feed." Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, even though they horses, but anyway.
Well, it's the concept of responsibility, but I bring up the question is like, what do you know about the mother? Because I found it very, edit this out because I can't think of the word. Striking. I found it very striking that we didn't know much about the mother. There wasn't like a message of, oh, she left or she died. And I don't know if this is what he's hinting at, but for me, I read it as if
She left, maybe?
no, this is deeper than that. Black women also, or minority women, aren't recognized for a lot of the work that does go into the industry that a lot of men will get credit for, but they don't acknowledge the woman. And I always talk about Hitchcock, but a lot of what made Hitchcock was his wife. His wife did so much, he just shot it. So I think just having that small little, like, there's just a picture, but she's technically invisible, which is almost how Keke was becoming. She was becoming invisible, separated. I felt like that was telling that there's a reason why the mother wasn't talked about in the
Do
film.
you think there could have been an option? Like, you know, sometimes with movies, like, it really comes down to, like, length. So maybe, I was thinking maybe they had something like, you know how they come out with movies, they're like, all right, this is director cut, it's extended version. They'll probably have scenes which incorporated her, or maybe even
a
flashbacks.
That's very true.
But it just
But
couldn't fit into the movie.
But why didn't they find that necessary to put in?
Because I
That's
felt
just
like
so weird to not even Disney is like, oh yeah, they
I think
died.
if you look at it though,
Yeah.
Daniel Kaluuya character basically was saying like, you act just like dad. So Daniel Kaluuya must just act like the mom. That's usually the opposite with parentings and stuff like that. The girl's gonna act like the dad, and the boy's gonna act like the mom. So maybe it was like, even though, because her pop was about the show. Her pop was about going to showboat, and her pop was about that. That's why
she put the VHS video in to watch her dad do the whole
thing.
Yeah.
So she acts like the dad.
Yeah.
The mom must act like Daniel then. You know what I mean? So and he's a protagonist. So it's just like this is a product of like he's the mother, the invisible mother that we don't see that raised him behind. I guess because even when you heard the interaction with him and the dad was trying to make him something that he probably wasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
He was very calm. He didn't want to talk to people. Very analytical, which I liked about it. Where I think a lot of black boys, they don't do a lot of black protagonists. We either comic relief, over the top.
Right.
Like no, a real boy would have been like, nope. Like no, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We gonna sit up here and just observe this thing, because it's like we not going to just go out there and just take pictures of it. Like he really thought about it. I didn't really buy his desire for everything, like for his legacy. But I get it though. It was a reason to do that. He wanted the money. He didn't just want to sell it. I thought it was interesting how he was saying that. It was funny. He was like, when they get it, they're gonna come down here and use all the resources and not give us no credit for it. So I do peep that what y'all was talking about earlier. I do like sometimes I gotta sit back and really listen to the movie, and I'm like, I peeped that when he was saying that. So it was interesting. I really do like his character though. Like so I liked how they made the protagonist. At first I was thinking like, what is his real want? Like what do you think was his real want out of everything? Like just to finish what dad left?
I think I would definitely say that, definitely. Like even as I mentioned before with the coin, it was a reminder like, yo, we were doing this. It's like to fulfill my father's dream, to have a legacy. So I really think,
which is in the black community, sorry, but that's a big thing to push legacies on our children. Too,
yeah. So I think definitely he was doing it to fulfill his father's wishes. But it's even crazy too in the scene. I guess we're over the spoiler alerts, but when the father's, dying, he's saying something to him. Like he was like in the house or something, but you couldn't really. It was like
Yeah, I just caught Beethoven. That was the only thing that I
I
caught.
thought he said like I see demons or something like that.
you see, it's like crazy. We couldn't really hear what he was saying. But
Wonder was any representation for the fact that it was like a nickel or a change that hit him in his eye.
I definitely was thinking about that. I was like, yo, why is it a nickel?
because it's like a term, like you nickel and diming me and stuff like that.
I don't know. Like, it's no
Short
reason. If you
change.
putting something on the screen, there's a purpose for you
Purpose,
putting something
yeah.
on the screen.
What can fit in an eye? Can a quarter go through? I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
a
it would be
quarter,
kind of
but
crazy.
nickel or
It'd be
penny.
still big.
It'd
Like,
be
Yeah,
big.
whatever
Yeah, I was
whatever
just
coin
thinking,
go in your
like,
eyes,
okay.
you pretty
Yeah.
much a rat, bro. Like,
Yeah.
especially from that distance, though.
yeah.
So I do like the idea of that alien eating stuff and then of the spitting all the stuff out. Because at first, but it was just when it first happened, I was just like, "What happened to my man?" They was like, "He was like, it wasn't no plane. It wasn't no plane where it just spit out that joint and just killed." I was like, "Oh, that's a mean way to
Oh,
go."
you know, it's crazy because I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
What?
Like I didn't hear what he said that it wasn't no plane.
Yeah, because they was like they saying a plane. It was said it was a prop plane that broke down and it spilled all the stuff that might have killed Dad. But he kept saying like it wasn't no plane.
Yeah.
Because he saw it, right?
No, he was there when it happened. And remember, he heard the sound. You saw the things falling, and he was just like, "What in the world?" And he looked over, and I was like, "Oh, this boy dead." Like, you know what I mean? I could see it. Like, everybody knew
Yeah,
his
he
pop
had
was
that
dead at
slump.
that point. Hit that slump. And I was like, "Oh, he dead," or something hit him.
Yeah.
And then the fact that it was the alien or the alien animal,
Jean jacket.
Jean Jacket.
Jean
Oh yeah,
jacket.
Jean Jacket.
Right.
Jean Jacket was just the stuff he wasn't digesting well. He's just spitting out the bones of it. So technically, I wonder would he spit out the camera though? Would the camera still work?
He did spit out the camera. We did see it fall. It was kind of messed up, but I'm
Okay.
assuming it still worked because, well,
It wasn't no
depends on
electric.
the fall.
It's
No
film. It's
electricity.
film. There's no electricity, so it probably still work.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
thing is, going back to your question, is I think Daniel Kaluuya does want to like continue on his father's legacy, but I feel like he's also a animal lover at heart. He was so concerned about the well-being of every single horse, and he made it very apparent that every single horse had like an individual personality,
I wonder
had
what's
its
the-
likes and dislikes. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
why, do you think that's what pushed the edit? The way they edited it like they did? Because they
Possibly.
edited all. It was all the animals. I don't think they
Yeah.
talked about none of the people on the edit. When he watched the edit, it was just like
Yeah, it was all
Lucky.
different name of animals.
Yeah. So
And he's also against. They were saying like using.
they wanted to feed it.
feed-
He's like,
feed
"Go
the
it."
animals.
The
Yeah.
cinematographer was like, "Yo, we'll feed the animal." He's like, "No, we're not doing that."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
no, we're not doing that. We're not sacrificing we're not sacrificing things I slaved over just for the
and things
for this pick.
I care for.
Yeah.
You know, I value.
And the thing,
And he even wanted to get the horses back after
that's
he
what I
sold
was
them.
gonna say. He was sold them. He was like, "I'm talking about getting them back," and the sister like, "For what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why you want them back for?" He's like, "No, I care for these young boys."
What was the name of the guy that had that little farm situation? The child actor. Do we remember his
Glenn?
name?
You talking about Glenn from
but
Walking Dead?
Glenn is not his name.
Oh, I was about to say that wasn't his name.
Yeah.
Ricky Juke Park.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we think about that storyline and his character and everything that he went through? How is it relevant to the film as well?
That's a big question for me.
Is
I didn't know if it was I was thinking some wild theory, like it was a representation of like race in like like
Because they always talk
in
about black
America
people
monkeys. So like then it was saying they even call Asian people monkeys.
Yeah.
So then he killed all the white people, and then he was like at the end like,
Yo,
yo,
I'm about to give you a pound.
yo, we're free now. Give me that pound.
Yeah, I got you. You my man. I ain't gonna kill you, brother. Yeah, give me that table, bro. Because he was telling like, "Yo, we out. We going, bro. We already off these boys. Let's roll." He was about to give him a pound, and
Got off. But
soon as they were gonna make the United sign, he was like, "Nah, bro."
see, that was just my thought. That was
I
crazy.
thought about that too, but I was like, "Dang, is he getting that bold with it? Like he just going?" Because the whole black monkey thing, like that's
Yeah.
what a common racist term. So
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that too. Like, oh, is it supposed to be representation of black? Like you want to stroll, you wanted to parade us all around, and then you do something like you hear a balloon pop, which sounds like a gunshot or whatever, but then I get wild and start reverting, like, you know what I mean, to like some hood ways or something like that.
But also, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Also, when they I guess when they were in the office and they referenced that Mad TV or thing, he was like, "Oh, you got to go online and check out the whole video of what happened." But then he was saying like it was crazy, and he's like basically the actor did a very good job of depicting it. He was saying like the chimpanzee was cool, and then he said something just triggered it and it lost it. But at that point, like think about like what like at that point they were trying to, I guess like you saying, tame a wild animal and make it the animal perform. And then at the point like it just snapped out and started killing people.
And that's what Daniel Kaluuya character said too. He said, remember, because we that funny tell was like he like you don't play with animals and you don't turn your back to a bear. It was like you don't do certain things, and when the animal becomes an animal, you looking like why did it attack me?
I agree, because I think that story helped OJ and helped OJ in particular understand that the UFO wasn't a UFO but an animal, because in the what was his name, Gordy, the monkey, but then the Asian character's name, anyway, like Ricky. I think that was for the audience to understand that like animals, similar to what Boom said, animals will always be animals, and it's just like there's just certain behaviors that are, depending on what type of animal it is, that if a human does a certain thing, it's going to take that as an aggression. So we don't know like what was going on through that monkey's head or whatever that he went off. Maybe it was the balloons or whatever, or what the backstory of that monkey was. Like maybe the trainers are treating it crazy.
Yeah, maybe it came from the wild. Maybe it came from where they was getting hunted at before.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? The boom, the shotgun was just a flashback, and he just went at PTSD.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, all three animals were not in their natural space. So the chimp wasn't in his natural space because he was in Hollywood. Honestly, the horses aren't in their natural space because they're on a ranch. They should be in the wild, honestly. And then there's the jean jacket, which this isn't its natural habitat, and it's trying to learn how to cope and survive in its natural habitat. So just interesting. I thought it was also interesting how Ricky was totally fine, just standing, looking up as he was getting sucked up.
But that's why it made it interesting, because he looked. That's what he did with the ape, the monkey.
I think a little PTSD kicked in, and he just froze.
And he was like he didn't know what to do. He was just frozen. Like, I think that you do three things if you're in a trauma situation: you either run, fight, or freeze. He just chose to freeze.
Am I the only one who felt like he seemed a little like relaxed or like comforted? Or did I just read his face wrong? Because at some point he just seemed like...
He just smiled. He was smiling like, oh, look at this.
Well, I think he might have knew that he was going to die. And he was just like, because what they show a couple of times throughout the movie was the fact that through all this, like they never showed that he ever received like any type of like treatment or like therapy and what his mental state was. Because even when he was talking about... It was weird that he had that whole kind of more like shrine
to his trauma.
Yes, with the shoe with blood on it.
The shoe
I'm like
straight up, yeah.
Like he had some issues there. So and I think it was never addressed, and he was kind of off. Like he had a life changing situation happen to him. Yeah, he witnessed people get murdered brutally, and he didn't know how to cope or know how to handle it. So I think he kind of just was a messed up individual, and then maybe like going back to what you're saying, like his facial expressions was just showing that like he was just relieved it's about to be over. Like like this torture, like it's over for me. Like maybe.
Do we think that he was purposely getting the horses because he knew what the UFO was capable of?
No,
that's exactly what he wanted.
That's what he was feeding. He was feeding. That's why he's like, you say you can't do it like that. He said Daniel Kaluuya character. Let me see what his character name was on that jump. OJ. It just. I'll be talking about the later the name. But,
that was hysterical. I started busting.
Run,
out
OJ,
laughing.
run! I was just like,
the lady. Listen, then the lady, the white lady got so scared. She's like, "Your name's OJ." I was like, "Yo, stop! Why y'all doing this?"
She had blonde hair. It was like
right.
Like
it was just wild. Like,
I was
come
just
on.
like, yeah, okay. He was like, yeah, Otis Jr. I was like, okay. But OJ said you got to make an agreement with the animals. Like this is their territory. So you make an agreement. You wasn't treating it. So here's what he's buying houses.
That's when the cinematographer said, "We'll talk to Sigmund Freud. What are the guys who got eaten by the tigers or whatever?"
Sigmund and Roy.
Yeah. So it's like you can have an agreement with an animal up to a point.
That wasn't an agreement though. You basically using an animal outside of natural habitat with Sigmund Freud. Though.
So what type of agreement can you come to with an
y'all
animal?
chill. We over here. We over there. I don't bother you. You don't bother me. Like,
quick question. I just had a revelation. So maybe you said he was always feeding them the horses, so that's why it kept going back to the horse ranch and was trying to eat the horses. I guess.
And that's why the other ones was bouncing like, yo, no, I'm out. Like
Right.
Ghost was just like, boom.
Yeah.
Like that joint
Yeah.
came around. Ghost was like, nah, bruh.
Yeah.
And he just jumped out the barn. I was like, so, yeah, it was a little different.
Well, let's talk
Oh
about
wow!
the-
Even going back to that real quick, this is kind of a stretch. It's so funny because going back to animals being animals, that that, like, you know, that thing that whatever Ghost was in, it was meant there to keep him
Safe.
keep him safe. Not only safe, but also keep him. What's the term I'm looking for? Not captured, but
in cage.
it keeps him in a cage.
Yeah.
And then at any moment he could have jumped over it, and he did.
And then,
Yeah.
and it's-
With his life was
the,
risking.
Well, the father said, because I think there was like a flashback or something, and OJ was saying that basically it was said that ghost spirit couldn't be
Trained.
Trained.
He said he couldn't
Right.
be. He said some horses
And-
just can't be trained.
Right. So he was like, I'm gonna chill here with you guys, but the moment there's something wrong, he's like, I can jump this gate.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good.
They were
Yeah,
like, where he
and it was
going?
crazy because they were trying to train him, and then he became an animal like when he felt threatened
Yeah.
and
Just
went
up and
over.
bounced.
Going back to bringing it full circle with the chimpanzee, he was cool until he heard, I guess, the balloons
He
popping,
felt threatened.
and then he felt threatened, and then he became an animal.
And Jean Jacket was territorial, so in a way that could make you feel threatened because it's
Right.
you're territorial, someone's coming
Right.
on the land. But who did Jean Jacket feel threatened by?
I think he felt threatened when they tried to feed him that horse with the plastic,
He got.
and then he started going crazy.
Yeah.
Then that's when he started going outside the
Because
norm.
Because I think it was a 6-month period from when he feeded when his pop died. For he's in that clap before he moved. It was like a 6-month period.
Yeah, but here's the thing: his pop died from things that came from
Something he ate already.
he ate
yeah.
already. So he ate something besides horses already.
Yeah, he
'Cause
was he was out there
peas
eating.
and-
Yeah, he was
so
out there
it wasn't
eating
just
already.
horses that he was eating. Though.
Yeah.
But then I think they wanted to strut because he was saying he was getting people down there. What's his name? Ricky was getting people down there in his park just to watch this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that he was
Suck-
like he was
suck
actually
things
trying to
up.
do what Daniel Kaluuya and their characters were trying to do already. He was trying to create a spectacle.
Profit off
Yeah.
of that.
But do you notice that the one what was that horse name in there that didn't move though?
Lucky?
Lucky. So Lucky didn't move, and then Lucky also never made eye contact with it too.
Yeah.
So Lucky was like, "I'm gonna just sit here and chill." Y'all boys, he's like, "Run, go, go."
Lucky.
Lucky was like, "Nah,
Still
bruh,
in the sky.
nah, bruh.
Yeah.
Y'all about to get. Hey, I seen how this joint go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Wait. When was that? Lucky?
when Glenn
Lucky was
I'm
in the
gonna call it
glass.
Glenn. When Ricky got
When the
ate,
whole town got the
When the
whole
Carnival
amusement
people
park,
got ate.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Remember-
Oh no, he was in cage though. I thought.
No, he
No, he took
opened
it
it.
out.
But he opened it and told him to go. He was
Yeah.
like, "Nah, bruh.
Oh yeah, you're right. He
you
did
you
open
want
it.
me to go prance out here to my death? I'm good."
Yeah, animal sense and danger.
Yeah,
It's like, nah.
I'll chill right in here.
I liked how, and again, I shouldn't be comparing the three, but I do see a theme of like the circus, a spectacle in Jordan Peele's films. Because in Us, there was the whole carnival in the mirrors thing. That's how you switch to the tethered or untethered.
I
And
never
this
watched
one
Us.
was the little carnival thing. I don't think there was one in Get Out. Any type of that whole thing was a spectacle. Him going there was the spectacle in a way. So there's always some type
Yeah.
of
I mean, I what I do like about his style though as a director is I notice he don't use a lot of people on screen a lot of times, and so you can get a lot accomplished with it not having the biggest like crew. I mean, his crew probably still was big, but you thought about it, it was only maybe 2, 3 people, 4 people at the max ever on screen at the same time.
so a
That's
small
pretty-
cast.
Yeah,
rather
small
than a-
cast, but I think you can get more intimate and get better performances like that too.
Yeah.
Though.
Well,
So-
that's a great segue into how did you guys appreciate the acting? How did you feel about it?
All right.
And also character development.
So on our way up here, well, I think we can all agree from us, being people who view movies and appreciate a good story and character development. There was no character development for like any of the characters at all. But I don't think it was necessary for the ultimate. I mean, for us as viewers to understand the movie. I thought that was pretty cool. So like they didn't really need to, even though they did use some flashbacks, which with the one they used was necessary. But I don't think there was any real character development. I just really thought like it just showed the characters. They showed a problem and they wanted like a resolution, and that kind of like drove the movie. Basically, trying to figure out they had a problem. They were trying to solve this issue of what's going on, and then also not just that issue of like, well, I don't know. There wasn't much character development. I liked all the characters. Only character I did not like the sister. I just didn't like how they portrayed her, and it's just like I just thought she was kind of, for lack of a better term, ratchet. And then as we were talking in the car, we are like, how is that even possible? They grew up in the country. How did she grow up and just end up being like that in theory? But I just my thing is I just don't like when any character of like especially particularly African Americans are like kind of portrayed as being, I guess we would say, like kind of like ratchet
Or
in movies and in TV. It don't sit well with me.
She was acting like she was kind of like raised in the hood, and it was like you had that farm life. Like what kind of, huh? Like you was living on a farm. Like I don't get like where you got this from. I mean, I liked her character, but I just didn't get like it didn't even. It was almost like, yeah, I don't understand. Like, why would you act like how did you come up? Like, was this developed into you to be like this? Because you totally opposite from your brother, but just the, like, I don't know. That's the only thing I was wondering about.
I do have insight on that, but first, do you want to?
Yeah. I agree with Boom and Bola. There were some characters like we were discussing in the car where I was just like, we could have did without. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Emerald, Keke Palmer's character, because of the way she was portraying herself. Because it just, to my understanding, it didn't reflect where they grew up.
Yeah.
And I was talking about my brothers in the car, and I was just like, it seems I don't like it when we as a people are whittled down to a stereotype, because there's more than just black people consuming these pieces of content, and for them to be just like, oh well, she grew up in the country, but why is she acting like that? Do all black women act like that, or do all black people act like that? And that's, to me, I was just like, I think it's more so Keke bringing Keke to the character instead of Keke like literally sitting with the text and being like, there's a way for her to still give that not aggressive, but like that confidence and just being an alpha female. There's a way to go about doing that in a ranch style that doesn't necessarily need to be the way that it was portrayed on screen, to me.
So I disagree with all of you. That's very classic me. I feel like Daniel's character, OJ, was exactly who he was. He was just on the ranch, dedicated to the ranch, just continuing what the family's doing. That's it. Like you didn't see any other interests, because I think his dad really had him be all about the ranch, all about getting this done. And I feel as though since Keke wasn't, or Emerald wasn't a part of it as much, she was going to the city. So she kept saying, like, I could go here and meet up with this person. I have a spot over here. She was a traveler. She was constantly moving away because that was part of her character. She's moving away. So she, in my opinion, was going to have different tendencies than on the ranch, because she went out into the world and developed different traits or whatever.
So
now,
hold
on. When I saw the trailer, first off, you know me. For some reason, I don't like a lot of actresses that we've seen so far. I'm not a big fan of Keke Palmer. Not a big fan of her. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this is Keke being Keke.
Right.
I didn't see anything else. So I did a little bit of research. Jordan Peele actually wrote this thinking of her. So he wrote it for her style, for the way that she is. And I'm like, okay, that makes total sense. And as I watched it, I was like, oh, I like you. I see myself in you. I know other people who are like you as well. And I thought she was going to be ratchet. I didn't see her as ratchet. I've seen Keke Palmer be ratchet, and I'm like, that's not it. I saw her as someone who was outspoken, confident, and...
Except when the alien came. She was bitching.
I mean, everyone was bitching when the alien came.
Except for my man.
Daniel was like, I'm going to sit in this car until he leaves.
Daniel was like, I'll go out there with that orange shirt on, but go ahead.
So my question to you three is, what made her seem ratchet? Specific.
Now I feel like a terrible person for
No.
saying
Should.
that.
I don't.
I feel like
I was gonna I was going to just on this point when you said she traveled a lot. I feel like if you travel a lot, and be around a lot of different people, you'd be more cultured than that. Like
I feel like you develop who you are as a person more.
I do, and it's just like, but it's just like, I don't know. It just like what type of people was she around to develop these certain tendencies? I just felt like it was
she was
stereotypical. I just think it was just stereotypical like female.
They try to make her very like urban. Not saying that all women who are urban are ratchet, but I mean I guess that's ratchet's not a good term to use. They say they depicted her as being like very urban. So our question, like as we were driving the car, like how did she get like that? But as you explained, she probably traveled, and she really didn't want to be a part of the family, which I think we talked about that in the car. She felt like an outcast.
Yeah.
So okay. So with that being said, I guess I have to.
I feel like there was little gems in there, dialogue wise, that let you know more about their character. I don't feel like it was displayed. I do feel like it was more tell than show. I will say that, which of course isn't the best in film, but that wasn't the main focus. The main focus isn't why are you the way you are, because she's not. Honestly, they're not the main characters.
No.
It's the animals. It's the situation.
Exactly.
So I don't feel like we needed to know more about that with Kiki. Do you guys feel as though you needed to know more about Jean Jacket? Where it came from, why it was there?
I mean,
I wanted to know why Jean Jacket was there, or how did Jean Jacket get there. That was like my biggest question about Jean Jacket.
Do you feel unfulfilled because it wasn't?
I felt unfulfilled.
Yeah, a little.
Okay.
I mean,
At first I did.
I'm a real like sci-fi nerd, so I kind of felt unfulfilled. I don't want to seem like a knocking it, but it was beautiful the fact that it was an animal instead of just an alien ship. The fact that it was an animal, I was like, yo, this is hot.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw one scene, I was like, oh, this is an animal. It's not a regular.
Yeah.
It's not a regular just alien. I think when it sucked something up and it spit it out, I was like, oh, this is an animal. It's not like an alien ship. This is an animal hunting. And so I don't. So I don't. It was. It's so I guess the whole thing about like you were saying like they follow. It was really about the animals. It's just maybe because I really like drama. I love dialogue. I love, like, I just felt like, I don't know. Sometimes when I watch a movie, I want to be able to connect with the characters. I just felt like I felt like I didn't really know the characters. So like the acting was solid. It just wasn't. I just wasn't.
Were you not
wasn't my person.
invested, or you just?
I just wasn't really. I just wasn't invested in them. Like I wasn't like wondering what they was going to do next. Like if I was in that situation, what would I do? Like it just wasn't. I mean, it just felt like it was. Like it was there to fill in the role instead of like it made sense that you said that he made that role with her in mind. Because I was just wondering like how did he come up with that character? But if that's what he did, then that makes sense to why her character was the way she was. He had her in mind when he was writing about it. I don't know.
So how about we move on to concluding thoughts? I feel like we've covered a lot. Unless you guys want to talk about another thing.
You can talk about concluding thoughts. I'm just still thinking. I'm probably gonna wind up talking about this again because I gotta.
We might like do a second.
Because this is just a first reaction of it.
Yeah, we've never done it like this. We usually watch
down,
a film, think about it a couple of days,
do some research on it. This is like
this is right off the bat.
Yeah, because that's how I thought Dune. I thought Dune wasn't that good until I went home, thought about it, watched it again. I was like, y'all love this movie. But then like so with this, I want people to see it. So my concluding thoughts. Everybody go see it. Support the movie. I think it's different from a lot of movies I've seen. So I think everybody should go see it and support the movie. I don't know if when it comes out, I'll probably watch it again. I'm not going to movie theaters to watch it again now. I felt like I wanted to know a little bit more, but that's just how that's just how I am as that's why I like more drama, more dialogue, more. I like to feel like I can connect with the characters. But if you look at a typical sci-fi movie, most sci-fi movies don't really have decent character. Like they don't really focus on the characters. They focus on the story. Now, one thing I want to ask people watching it: did that movie remind you of any other movie you've seen in the past? The way they introduced the suspense, how you only saw glimpses of the creature at first.
Well, that reminds
Jaws.
me. Well, you said it. You said Signs.
Signs. As soon as I was watching, I said this reminded me of Signs.
So I mean, that was like a typical, like even Mike just said Jaws. I would say like that's like a staple in some M. Night Shyamalan's movies.
Yes, I was about to definitely say it. I felt like this was like kind of not. I wonder, do he like that he do research on M. Night Shyamalan? Because the way it was shot and the way that like the stuff would like you would never see it all the time at first. Like you would just see glimpses of it. I was like, oh, that's definitely like a little bit of like, because I was like, this is like how
Definitely
Signs
Signs.
was.
Definitely Village.
Yeah, Village. Like
I mean,
like,
well, definitely Signs, but a little bit Village.
yeah.
And you guys bring up, all of you, films that have terror during the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
Usually thrillers are at night, someone's creeping around, but like Jaws, you don't see it at first and then you are seeing it. And same thing with Signs. It's, you know, a little bit here and there and then you finally see it.
You are a super observer. She said terror in the daytime. Like, I've never even thought about something like that. Like, terror in the
'cause
daytime.
I kind of studied film. What did you say earlier? You kind of studied film stuff. I think Boomy said that. But yeah, so it's interesting that, you know, I guess he's using the same kind of techniques that other directors have used to shoot like thrillers in the day. So I think you brought up a really great point. And are you cool with your concluding thoughts? Can I
Yeah, go
jump
ahead.
in? Part of my concluding thought is I love the fact that we got to go inside of the animal.
Yes.
That I did not expect us to go there.
I ain't gonna lie,
was
that was pretty thorough.
bring it. This
Yeah.
has never happened. I want to know what's going on. And then when she saw that dead horse, I said, "Mama, you did."
Oh, that was a dead horse? I could not make out what it was.
What?
It's-
At
It
the
was
top,
like
the skin was off of it.
Skin
Yeah.
was off
Oh,
of it and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Once again, the cinematography was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't off the rip. This should be nominated for the cinematography. I don't know what it is, but when I was watching, I said, "Oh yeah, my man stepped his game up this time."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what a
Like-
lot of people were saying. They were like, "Oh,
They stepped their game
'cause
production wise.
Get Out was just small budget. That was his first film."
Yeah, I think he shot it in 3 days.
And now he has a whole studio behind him, so I feel like it's just going to get bigger and better what he's able to accomplish and who he's able to hire to do these films. But I'll let that be my concluding thought. It was awesome. We went inside the alien. Go ahead.
Oh, I definitely enjoyed the movie. At first, when it immediately ended, like Boom said, and I think we discussed in the car, I felt like not satisfied. Just I just wanted more insight on if basically they were able to achieve their objectives. But again, that wasn't necessary, you know, for the conclusion of the film. Because I mean, a lot of great movies kind of they have open endings. So this was like definitely, I felt like it was an open ending to the movie.
Was it?
Yeah,
Because you really don't really know what
happened.
happened.
We don't know if my man died or not.
Wait, who?
The alien.
We
Like, we
don't know.
assume he
assume
died.
But was that the main objective?
The
To kill the
objective
alien. The
was-
main objective
What was the
get-
main objective? Was
to
it-
Get a
footage.
picture.
get a picture of it. And
to
they-
get pictures
and
and
they
get
did.
recognition for it. But we don't know if that happened. They did get the picture, and you saw people coming.
Okay, good point.
So,
but the picture was still kind of suspect, like in the era of Photoshop and social media and everything.
Well, the kind of film it is. I think that was the point that they were really trying to say. Like, you can't question this. This is
Yeah.
old school
Yeah.
film.
uh-huh.
And you can't doctor that old school type
Okay,
of film.
that-
So
that
I
makes
think
sense.
It would imply that they would.
That's
but
my biggest problem with it. Then I think,
what?
like the story purpose. Maybe because I'm taking writing classes now, I look at it different. Like I'm looking at
As
like
you should.
the story. What's the story purpose? Like what's drop? Who had who
For
was
the most
Daniel?
to lose?
Who was Daniel Kaluuya the main protagonist? Like who was the protagonist in all of this?
I would
I
have to
think
say
the protagonist was the animals. I think this is my concluding thought, by the way. I think this was a commentary on how, since all of the stuff that's going on in the world, humans are overpopulated, et cetera, we're encroaching more and more on wildlife. And it's just like, we need to figure out a way to build up instead of out, or find some way to harmoniously live with these animals. The protagonist was the animal, and we need to realize that, yeah, you got a dog, but a dog is going to be a dog sometimes, you know? And like, no matter how domesticated a dog is or a cat is or a bird is, like, they're still animals, and we have to have respect for these animals.
Yeah,
What's your concluding thought, Bull?
he just did.
Oh, you did?
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. I would definitely refer it to other people.
Oh, let's do
And-
ratings.
Ratings?
I give it a strong 8.
I said. At first I said 7, but I'll give it a 7. Definitely a 7.5. Like if for me, it would have got an 8 if it had a solid ending. Like it wasn't open ended. You see these guys on TV, like they did it. They accomplished their goals and fulfilled their father's, for lack of a better term, dying wishes. But it was definitely a 7. I'll give it a 7.5 because again, like it's a lot of speculation on what we're talking about, what happened, the meaning behind things, and even the main story of which was very intricate in the story, the issue with the chimpanzee and what happened. And even what was Glenn's character's name?
Ricky.
Ricky.
You know, that was like a focal point, like in a movie. So we as viewers just are speculating. Like I guess, you know, but I mean, at the end of the day, I really enjoyed it, and I recommend other people to definitely view the movie.
Awesome. Well, this has been Brothers That Love Film. I'm Lady Maya.
This is Ola.
I'm Bola.
And special guest.
Mike, number 1.
Thank you, everyone, for listening in. Please subscribe and look out for our next episode. Thanks, everyone.
Adios, amigos.